injury hurt for 3 months.
Yeah. And it seemed like even when we were working together here, that was going on a little. Okay. So take an upright seated posture. Let your eyes close. So begin to arrive more in the moment. Pulling off the many stories and distractions, kind of unplugging from the outer world and plugging more in with yourself. Maybe that means noticing the things that are kind of irritating you in the room that you're in or inside your body, and just noticing and allowing them to be there, whatever they are. If there's something going on that you're not liking, and then you're putting effort into keeping the story going of you're not liking it, that's just more tension. You can use your breath to help you become more soft in your skin, more soft in your belly. Let your pelvis rock forward a little bit and your belly lengthen and kind of fall out. No one's around. The belly is one place that we can hold so much chronic tension because we've been taught to kind of to pull the belly in. Now scan your body from the top of your head to your feet and notice where you're holding tension. Your forehead, your jaw, your eyes, your neck. When you find places that you're holding tension, it's not like now you have to make the tension go away. You can just open up the possibility of not being as tense. Your hands, your belly. Maybe taking some sighs out through your mouth. Seeing if you can become more and more relaxed. There's a Chinese proverb, and it's tension is who you think you should be, and relaxation is who you are. And today, as we move through class, letting go of the shoulds, what you think this should look like or should feel or how you should be doing. And just letting you be exactly as you are with just so much rest. And begin to turn your awareness to your breath. And letting go of the way you think your breath should be. And just notice as it is. Notice if you have more movement of the breath in your belly or your chest. And see if through resting and letting go more, you can get the breath to be more in your belly. And if that doesn't happen naturally, if that becomes like a should, then just breathe however is natural. Even if that means it's in the chest. And take your hands in front of your heart. And set this intention to be more relaxed, but not something that you should be. This isn't one more thing you should be. You should be relaxed. It's just relaxing into who you are. We can have so much tension in keeping ourselves together and our schedules and all the things that we have to manage, and it's so much stress, and it's like we're getting pressed down by life, and that's how we can feel like depressed, because we feel pressed down by all these shoulds. Moving into this more restedness. And begin to rub your hands together, creating some heat in the hands. And once your hands get warm, you're going to cup them lightly and place them over the eyes. And feel the heat of the hands soften the eyes, soften the optic nerve that goes all the way deep into the brain. And then bring the fingertips on the floor, spine long, begin to do neck circles. Start with really slow. How slow can you do these neck circles? Through tension and stress, we move fast. And what speed does relaxation move? And take the circle in the other direction. And bring the head back through center. Imagine the head could float up like it was full of helium, like with effortlessly float up. And as the crown of the head effortlessly becomes more buoyant, feel the shoulders become more soft. And through this effortless buoyancy and softness, feel a little traction in the back of the neck. And then use your hands and pull your feet up, or your knees up, move any cushion you might be sitting on. Heels come out in front of you, and we're going to slowly roll down using some of your core. And then when you get to the bottom, full stretch, reaching out through the toes, reaching out through the fingertips. Pandiculate, so there's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's just moving the way the body wants to move. And then allow your stretch to take you over to your right side in fetal position. Give yourself a moment to just lay here and be held by the earth, by the floor. And then use both of your hands to press yourself back up. And come back into the seated position with the heels on the floor. We'll do it again, so rolling down. And stretching out. Eventually rolling over to the left into your fetal position. They've seen that even when babies are fetuses in the womb, they do this pandiculation, this stretching that isn't learned, it's just known. And then slowly press your way up. It's cool that intelligence has been with us for so long. Again, slowly roll down. Full stretch. Pandiculate. I like to flex or point my toes. Sometimes I bend my knees. Sometimes I add a twist. And then pull the knees into the belly. And then plant the feet on the floor. Keep stretching the arms up above the head. We'll turn sideways so that hands are on the floor. We're going to do some bridges. So as you inhale, push into your feet, lift up through your hips, stretch your knees away from your hips. And then as you exhale, lower down. And inhale, push into your feet, lift up through your hips. Lengthen out through the knees so it feels like the femurs are getting longer. Then while you're up here, you could take some movements in your hips. And I like to drop one hip and then the other. And as I drop a hip, I push out through the opposite knee. And then lower back down. Really nice. Cross your right ankle over your right knee. Keep your right ankle over your left knee. Keep them together and then roll to the outside of the right hip, or no, left hip. And then come up through center and then roll the right thigh to the floor. So it's kind of like windshield wipers, but with this figure 4 position. Rolling to the left and rolling to the right. Rolling to the left. This time stay here so the outer left knee comes to the floor, sole of the right foot comes to the floor. Right knee faces up to the sky. Stretch your arms out away from you like a T. And then circle out the wrists. And circle the wrists in the other direction. And then relax the arms, stay in a supine twist. You can stay here or you can take your left hand to the right hip crease and push the hip gently away. Really nice. Bring the knees back up through center, still in this figure 4. If you lost it, right foot crosses over left knee. We're going to do a supine pigeon. Pull the left knee in. Either reach your hand through the hole and around or around both legs as you pull the left knee to the chest. While you're here, you can pull your butt under or push it back. You'll get more of a hip stretch if you untuck your sit bones. Like you're trying to uncurl your tailbone. If you think of your tail like your tailbone like a tail, you're trying to uncurl it and reach it to the front of your yoga mat. Maybe with that untucking action, find a little sway from side to side if that feels good to you. Really nice. Release your legs. Soles of the feet on the floor, roll over to your right side. Pause, fetal position. And then use your hands to push you back up. Sitting on your bum, heels on the floor, roll down. Full stretch. I can tell when I pandiculate because normally I'll yawn. I like trigger a yawn in myself. Oh, and then bend the knees in, arms stretching overhead on the floor. Shoulders soft. Push through the feet as you lift the hips up. Think about growing the knees forward out of the hips as you push through the heels and then slowly lower down. One more. Push down, lift up. Stay in a lifted bridge, or you can begin to take a little bit of movements in the hips. This hip drop in bridge, the PTs give this to clients sometimes to help adjust their SI joints, which is interesting. Okay, and then lower back down. Now stretch your arms out like a T. Cross your left foot over the right knee. And then with the legs staying in this figure 4 position, move onto the outer edge of the right hip, outer edge of the right pinky toe, outer right knee comes to the floor. And then bring the right knee back up to the sky. Pivot towards the inner edge of the right foot, outer left leg comes to the floor. Moving back and forth like this a few times. The next time the legs come over to the left, keep them there. The outer left knee is on the floor. It's kind of like a weird position. It's not really a position, but pull the belly in and push the right knee more forward. See if you can find a stretch on the front side of the body. Come back through center, roll to the outside edge of the right foot. Left foot comes to the floor. Stay here, lift up the hands, stretch from the center of your chest out through your fingers. Make little wrist circles. Take the circles the other direction. And then take the right hand, if you want, to the top of the left hip and push away. Letting the bowl of the pelvis receive your breath. As you inhale and the lungs fill with air, the lungs come down and they massage the organs all the way down into the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor gets like this massage as you breathe. But if you're uptight and you keep the tension in your belly, that breath doesn't make its way down there. And then unwind. Really nice. Stretch out through your arms and legs one more time. And then pull your right knee into your chest. Left leg forward. Push out through your left heel as you pull your right knee in. You can keep it more static, just pulling the right knee into the chest, or you can move the knee a little bit side to side. I've been studying since my accident a lot about fascia, which is the tissue that surrounds everything in your body. So you have your muscles and you have your bones and you have your organs, and like all of the stuff between those is this fascia, and it kind of looks like spider webs that move, and on the like little threads it transports liquid like water and blood. Take the right knee out to the right with the right hand, and it's kind of, I'll imagine Violet's been wearing the Spider-Man costume. That's like a full body one piece, like with the gloves and the feet and the head and everything. Okay, extend the right leg forward, pull the left knee in. And I can imagine that's like the fascia. And if I just grabbed a piece of that fabric and started like twisting it, it would cause one side of her body to begin to collapse with too much tightness and one side of her body to be too long. So that's like what fascia is. It has all these holding patterns, so maybe moving the knee from side to side. So when you're working with the fascia, you're less trying to focus on a specific muscle and more trying to find a place where it feels tense in the body. So when you move around a little bit and you feel like an area of tightness and holding it, that's starting to affect this like fascia. Fascia is also stretched more through less repetitive movements and a little bit more flowy. Okay, hold the left knee with the left hand, open the left knee out to the side. And then stretch out through both feet and your arms. Pull the knees in, roll over to your left side. Fetal position, take a few deep breaths. Feel the breath. Make it all the way down to massage the pelvic bowl. And then use your hands, slowly press yourself back upright. Nice. I'm going to stay this way so you can see me. Extend your legs out forward. Pull the hips back. And then we're going to walk backwards with our butt. So you sit on the left hip and pull the right glute and sit on back. Sit on the right hip, pull back. This is a really sneaky way to get into the hamstrings and to find like a little bit more functioning of the hip. Once you've gone all the way back, walk forward, or like all the way back for you, whatever you just deem all the way back. And then walk back again. Sometimes I'll have people do a forward fold before doing this, then do this and do another forward fold. In this movement, walk forward. will make the forward fold more accessible. Great. So once you find your way back in about the middle of your yoga mat, let's cross the left foot over the right foot. So this is going to be more of a stretch for the fascia and less for like the muscles and the bones. So you'll kind of round your spine, cross your arms, and find a position where you can kind of hang. So the fascia runs up the back of the legs to the hips and then crosses on the back and does a big X to the opposite shoulder and down the arms. And same thing with the front, from the front of the legs up to the hips, does a big cross across our chest to our shoulders and down our arms. So in here, see if you can notice, does one side of your spine feel more tense than the other? And it's like, we won't do anything with that information, but observe it and be interested. Your breath could allow you to kind of shimmy. I think about like walking, just like we walked our butt back, walking the shoulders kind of forward, even if there's not much movement, just one shoulder rolls forward and then the other. Letting go of what you think this should look like and being more of this relaxation. All right, and then walk yourself back up. Switch your legs, left foot on the bottom, right leg crosses over. Come on down for your rounded spine. I normally find if I tuck my chin enough, I feel this very uncomfortable stretch throughout my back. And that's part of this fascia that connects way down at the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia. It comes all the way up and connects to the back of the brain. You don't need to torture yourself, but you can practice just being with this intense stretch. Not needing to change it or fix it or accept it. Just let it be what it is. Maybe doing that alternating shoulder roll walk. And then walking your hands back up. All right, open your knees, soles of the feet together. Parsvakonasana. Letting the inner thighs become more open, and then we'll side stretch to the right. So right hand comes on the floor, left arm stretches up and over. For a moment, push into your right hand, keep the left hip down and stretch out through your left fingers. And feel what it feels like to actively stretch. Nice, and then we're gonna come around through the center, like a zombie might like, nice sound effect, swing across, and then left hand down. Actively push through the left hand, right hip grounds, through the right fingertips, through the back of the neck, and then kind of like zombie arm swing, but slow-ish. And this time, come into more of a dead slouch. So you're just kind of hanging. The right hip stays down, and you're kind of stretching more through the left hip stays down, and you're stretching more through the left elbow. Heavy head. Close in the chest a little bit, so it's like a little forward fold. Just feel how the stretch moves in the fascia. Open up a little bit more and find a place that feels yummy or curious. And then zombie arm swing. Kind of like you're just melting open. This layer of tension that's like that tension, that uptightness that we have in our mind. It affects the fascia, so it becomes more tense, and we want it to be really ripply and fluid. And then zombie arms, and we'll do this a few more times, and you can experiment with what feels better for you. A more active press or a more passive hang. You can go at whatever speed you want. Go a little bit slower than you would intuitively move. And then make your way back to upright. Draw the shoulders back a little bit, lift up through the top of the head, push down through the hips, then extend the legs wide. This is for you, Christina. And we'll do that same move, but with the legs open. So either active press or more passive stretch, side stretch. And then same thing, like zombie through the middle, back of the spine is round. And then come over to the other side. The next time you come over to the right side, stay over here. And then we're going to start to come up through the middle. So pushing down through the right hand and the right heel. Push yourself upright and then come down over to the left. I mean, this like elastic quality of the body as you push down, it's like less effort than you need to use your muscles to pull up. And like a different way of thinking about it. After your next left side, come up to center and stay up. Nice. Use your hands to pull your knees in. Grab both of your knees and rock over to your right side. A little glute massage. And come over to your left side. A little glute massage. And then you can either do that one more time on each side using your hand, or you can turn on your core a little bit more. So 3 ways. Hold your knees, do the glute massage. Heels down, rock over to one side. So you're still trying to like get a little glute massage, but this is going to require more core strength. And then other side. I'm still trying to get the idea of a glute massage, but with the core work, or heels up. And your arms kind of like float, like the bones are inflated. All right, then heels to the floor, let the knees windshield wiper over to the right. Pivot your chest and from your hip out, put your right hand down and then come onto your forearm. Elbow forward of your shoulders, so the shoulder is not like buckling. And we're gonna find some spine mobility. So first we're gonna go up and down. I like to use my left hand to just kind of like, where is the movement happening the most? And seeing if I can get the movement to happen in other places too. Maybe seeing if like from the tailbone you can create a wave-like motion up through the spine. Not for any other reason than just like a roll identifies where these stress holding patterns are. And if you haven't done forward and back spinal movements like a cat-cow, you can do that here too. And then either take your hand behind your head and push your hand back open across your heart as you support your head. Stage 1. Stage 2, reach down for your foot. This is a little bit more of an intense, this can be more intense because we're upright. You can also come down into the classic that pose, laying on your side, and stretch your quad. And for today's quad stretch, I want you to focus on trying to kick your back foot straight, but not allowing yourself to because you're holding on to your foot. That should get from a different section of your quad. And then if you would like to, you can kick your foot into your hand and open it up a little bit more. So it's like a back bend. Same thing, heart open, throat back. And pull it in. Press yourself out. Shake out the arms. So let's try this. This is a good one. Yes, this was very educational for me to see how much stress is in my body. I've come a long ways. See if you can just stretch, shake your hand. If I forget to do windshield wiper on the other side, Gina, you remind me. Now see if you can shake out your forearm. And now your whole arm. But instead of doing it up here where it creates tension to hold it up, see if you can do it more down here. So it's more gravity. This side, I can do pretty well. I can feel that my arm is pretty loose. We play a game in our house called Noodle where you try to be really loose and then someone lifts your arm up and it should just drop. That's the idea. But if I do it on my other arm, I can feel I have so many areas of tension that it doesn't let my arm wiggle like that. So now try your other hand. I'm doing a lot better, but I can feel I thrust my left boob forward. I'm compensating to get that same movement. Well, it's just interesting, this idea of instead of trying to be so good and trying to hold the alignment right, all this effort and doing more and it should look like this idea of being more loose and relaxed. Okay, nice. Something to play around with. You can do it with your feet too. So if you can lift up your feet and I can shake my right foot pretty good. Pretty freely, like a noodle. But my left foot, I can't. Well, it's just interesting. It shows these where these patterns of uptight or stress, and we hold them. So our practice can be this one of just trying to release some of that. Okay, feet forward. I remembered. Wait, let's windshield a few times. And then when the knees come over to the left, stay there. Turn your chest, come down onto your left forearm, right hand on your hip, and begin to move the spine. They've done some really interesting studying with fascia. They've only been studying fascia for 10 years. Before that, they thought fascia was really useless. So it's just the padding for the muscles and the bones. But now they're starting to recognize that fascia might even be more important than the muscles and the bones, because even if someone is severely broken in their muscle and bone or something in the spine, but then they can make the fascia really healthy, the fascia can do the job for that muscle. Pretty cool. Maybe try to bring a wave to it. This is my left side, so I can just feel that the wave feels more restricted. So it doesn't need to look anyway. If you feel a little random stretch would just feel divine, do that. Giving yourself the sovereignty to trust yourself. You're the teacher. Okay. And then 2 options, either hand behind the head, push the head back, pull the elbows and shoulders away from each other, or reach down for the right foot for the quad stretch. Right shoulder back, and then kick the foot into the hand. Push out through the right knee. Maybe open up into dancer. And I look like I have really good balance, but actually I'm holding onto the rug so I don't fall over. Oh, so good. Push yourself up. Into a seat for a moment. Let's do neck circles again. And do them more slowly. Something I've been realizing for myself that's been really powerful is that rules make me feel really safe. Like if I have this set of rules, take your circle in the other direction, then it's just like up to me using my willpower enough to follow the rules. And there's like safety in following the rules. But I think there's like so many rules I don't really know to like need to follow. And it's just like more stress. Really nice. We're going to bring our head slowly back into stillness. And then shift forward however you would like to come into table. Hands and knees on the floor. I'd go hands slightly forward of the shoulders just so there's less weight on the hands. Knees on the floor or a cushion. Christina, I keep meaning to ask you, send me a message or something. I'm curious how your knees are doing on the floor because I can't see you, so I can't offer modifications. So let me know if there's any poses I cue that don't feel good on your knees, and I'll think of modifications for them. And then we're going to do some spinal mobility too. So instead of just going to cat-cow, right, which is like the pose you should do in table for spinal mobility, you kind of soften that idea and then just move in a way that would feel good for your spine. And if something feels good, do it again. And if something doesn't feel good, don't do it again. Really nice. As you exhale, sit back into child's pose. Surrendering this idea of like always needing to do more and prepare more and work more and figure it out more and do more. And it's like we're always in this race against these structures that we've made for ourselves that like we don't need all of them. Some are helpful, but some aren't. So it's like questioning, what do I need and what can I let go of so I can be more relaxed? Come up to table, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Bicycle out the legs, bending one knee and straightening the other. Nice, and then begin to walk from like one foot to the other. So it's kind of like you step on the left foot, and as you do, the left hip goes to the left, and then you put more weight on the right foot, and the right hip goes to the right, so the hips kind of go side to side. And then from that side to side, start to kind of walk your feet forward to your hands, Uttanasana. Little bend in your knees. Shift your weight forward and back on your feet. And then as you inhale, work your hands to your thighs, stretch your spine forward and lengthen. Head slightly higher than the shoulders, slightly higher than the hips. And as you exhale, fold back down. And inhale, hands on the thighs and lengthen. And exhale, back down. Again, inhale, hands on the thighs, lengthen. Been really liking spreading my arms here, but that might not feel good to you. Then exhale, forward fold. I like, we're gonna do it a few more times. So you can go hands on your thighs, or you can inhale and lengthen. Spread the arms. Exhale, out. Inhale, lengthen. Spread the arms. Bow. This time we're gonna come all the way up. Push through the feet, come all the way up, however that looks for you. Widen your feet. If you feel lightheaded, put your hands on your head and push up. just going to do these little bounces through the heels, so the toes stay on the floor, just kind of lifting and dropping the heels. You can kind of notice the ripple. So when I did massage school, one of the things you would do is when you get someone on a table, you grab their feet and you kind of like rock them forward and back. And you notice if the ripple goes all the way through the head, or try to find out like where it's not going. And that will show you kind of where these held patterns of tension are that can no longer communicate the like ripple of movement. Okay, then more still. Begin to investigate the feet, shifting the feet around. We're going to do some balance poses. So if you want to be next to a wall, you can move closer to a wall. If you have a massive foam roller, you can use it like a cane if need be. Okay, and then let's stand onto the right foot and do tree pose. So the left foot can come anywhere except for the knee. And then you can do whatever you want with your arms. Totally okay if you fall. So the goal of this balance pose isn't to not fall. It's to be balanced while trying to be relaxed. So even if it means falling, like that, I want you to see if you can be relaxed. So even if you fall, it's just like, oh, that's cool, man. Instead of like, I'm balancing, but I'm so stressed. Really nice. Come back to center. Sway a little. Second side, standing on the left foot. I'm going to use my cane. Push down through the left foot, lengthen up through the top of the head, soft shoulders, soft face, soft belly. Feel the ripples move through you. And then come on down. We're actually going to just do that one. And come to the upper right corner of your yoga mat. I'm going to switch back a little bit so I'm fully in the screen. And we're going to do, and it's okay if you step off of your mat, and if you want to step on it, that's fine too. We're going to do this like Tai Chi-ish lunge series that we've done before. So shifting the weight onto your left foot. Lift the right foot up and slowly extend the right foot over, plant it, shift the weight to the right foot, pelvis over the right foot, push down, left knee pulls up. You could do this without touching the ground, or you could like toe touch if you need balance. Leaning forward slightly, bending into the right knee, stepping the left foot back into a lunge. I like to twist a little bit here to the right to get into some of this outer hip stretch, and then come back forward. Toe hin touch, or it will begin to slowly stretch out to the left. Standing on the left foot, right foot will pull in, and then step back. And then in, and then wide. So it's like you're making L's. And finding your own kind of flow to this. You could add some kind of like floatiness to the arms, or maybe like a full lunge. Instead of this being like a yoga pose that you know everything you should do, this is more of a moving meditation. Just getting curious of the way you move and feel. Using all the sensations that arise from this to help you ground into the present moment. Feel like the bones are like floating in this fascia, being held in this connective tissue that wants nonlinear movement and wants things that are a little bit like different. Nice, and slowly make your way back up to standing. Let's pause and notice how you felt about that. And whatever your feelings are about that, if you loved it, didn't like it, are indifferent to it, so allow whatever it is to be. It doesn't need to change. It doesn't need to go away. That's part of this relaxing. Relaxing isn't being like, no, I shouldn't have this feeling. Relaxing is like, that's there. Okay, we're going to do goddess squat. So let's turn, well, depending on how you feel about using your mat. If you want to stay on your mat, turn to the side. I'm going to face you so you still have the view. Turn the heels out a little bit, hands on your knees. So make sure that the feet aren't going like all the way back. So the toes are still facing forward-ish. I like to hold my hands on my knees and widen the knees as I kind of shift around. Depending on how much leg work you want, keep your squat wide or you can walk it in. It doesn't have to be like the deepest lunge. We're going to do that same movement pattern we've done before. So take your right elbow over to your thigh. Let this left arm sweep up over your ear. This can be active or more passive, your choice. And then this kind of like zombie arm through the middle. Just moving at your own time, really feeling the way the stretch moves as you move. It would feel good too, instead of having the elbow on the thigh, you can kind of reach your arms down more to the floor. They probably won't touch, but the deeper you go, you'll start to change where you get the stretch on your back. And then we're going to make our way from here into a wide leg forward fold. Pivoting the toes the same direction as the knees, straightening the legs, bowing forward. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath. If there's some kind of movement that would feel good for you here, take it. And as you inhale, work your hands up your thighs, push your hands into your thighs and lengthen yourself forward. Head higher than the heart, stabilizing the blood pressure, and come all the way up. If you get lightheaded, take your hands to the top of your head and lengthen up or just stand. Giving yourself just ways to have a little bit longer together. So as you feel like your attention may be scattering to things you need to do, just going to enjoy this practice. I've already given myself this time. I'm just going to be here and I don't even have to enjoy it. I'm just going to do it. Okay, from here, we're going to do 2 standing poses. So we're going to stay in our wide leg forward fold. Pivot your right foot forward to the short edge of your yoga mat. Bend your front knee over your ankle. So we're in like a warrior 2. Pinky toe edge of the back foot is at a 90-degree angle. So it's not turned in too much here. And then we're going to come into Parsvakonasana. So taking the elbow to the thigh, or you could go hand to block or floor. Stretch your arm up over your ear. I'm going to be here about for 5 breaths. So letting this pose and your intelligence do its thing with less of your thinking and your shoulds. You do it more from your being and knowing. And as you inhale, push into your foot, come all the way up. Nice. Pivot your right foot in. Pivot your left foot out. Bend your front knee over your ankle. And then come on down. See if you can bring your awareness to the inner bowl of the pelvis, the muscles of the pelvic floor. See if you can feel the sensations that happen when you inhale there. And how that inhale can move from the pelvic floor kind of up the spine to the top of the head. Just a noticing. A really nice push into your left foot. Come on up. We're going to do one more here because that felt good. So the option is to do Trikonasana. So I like to, for my Trikonasana, to have a wider legs. I also like a block. So if you have a block, you could use one. So hinge forward, hand to the inside or outside. Push through the feet, open the spine. If you prefer, you could stay in Parsvakonasana and bend the knee. Maybe like move between the two. I really want this class to be more about like you letting yourself show up however you are and move however kind of you want within this like kind of guidance I'm giving. Nice. Put a little bend in your legs, push down, come on up. Pivot your feet in. Move your prop. Turn your left foot out. This is like one of my biggest things I can't do with my foot yet. I can't point my toes down to the floor and straighten my leg. So work with whatever you got. And when you're ready, move into Trikonasana. Really nice. And then come back up. Make your way to the top of your yoga mat. Shake through your body again, those little like bounces on your heels. Again, I can tell right away that my bounces are kind of moving further up my body. Inhale, stretch your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. In your down dog, bend your knees for table. Nice. Then in your table, we're going to thread the needle. So coming up onto your right finger, thread your left arm through. If you'd like some more hamstring stretch, you could extend your right leg over to the right. Working to get your breath, that in-breath to, through more relaxation and effort, descend down into the pelvis. And then pushing down, come back up through table. And switching sides, left fingertips, right arm threads through. As you inhale, unwind. Then we're going to make our way onto our back. So however you want to get there. Do a full stretch to your toes and your fingertips. And then bend your knees, soles of the feet on the floor. Your arms can be wherever you'd like, maybe by your sides. I've been really liking for my bridges having my arms above my head with the back of the hands on the floor. It feels really good. We're going to do a few bridges. Inhaling, lift up. I'll cue them, but if you want to do them at different times or a longer one, feel free to make that decision always. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Maybe do little hip drops. And lower down. Open up the arms to the side, windshield wipers. And when you feel ready, let's pull the feet in and hold your knees. So this modified happy baby, and then reach down and hold your ankles if you can, or your shins or your feet. And just allow your body to move however it wants to move. To look anyway. It's kind of like what a real happy baby would look like. They wouldn't just hold the pose still. They'd like suck on their toe and extend a leg and fart and when you feel satisfied, extend your legs for Shavasana. You could throw a blanket over yourself or put a sweater on. Before you go into Shavasana, I want you to widen your feet, push your heels into the floor. And then with your heels into the floor, take your toes and point and flex them. And this will cause a ripple up through your head. So if you can kind of ripple out the whole body. This reminds me of when there's like crumbs in the bed and you kind of like ripple the sheets and you do that flick and the ripple goes all the way through the sheets and the crumbs go away and then you have like this smooth sheet. We're doing that for ourselves. And when you're ready, let the moves get slower until you can kind of drop like a pebble deeper into yourself. Deeper into yourself that's relaxed. Who you truly are is like this relaxed being. Tends to be the thinking mind that puts all of these pressure and structures and rules. Let yourself drop into your relaxed self. And begin to allow the breath to become a little bit bigger. As your breath brings new energy into your organism, wiggle toes and fingers and allow yourself to just stretch again, like waking up for the second time. And eventually allow this stretching to take you over to one side and then up into your seated posture. Scan through what's outside of you and inside of you. Just notice how that compares to the beginning of class. Do you feel any more soft or relaxed, or like what differences do you notice? And sometimes I don't feel better after I practice than I do. It's just allowing what is to be. So we're going to chant a call, and in yoga philosophy, they say this has to do with if you believe in reincarnation, but they say that when you die, the next several days after you die, I think it might be like 12 days, that your soul goes on this journey. And part of that journey is you get shown your whole life. And then you get to decide. No one else decides for you. You get to decide, like, did you learn the thing you meant to learn? Or how did you live? And I think it's so cool that it's like, even if you fucked up a ton, you can get to the end and be like, yeah, that was a wild ride, instead of like, well, I should have done better, And then there's these different gateways you kind of meet before you kind of absolve in all energy, or you go into reincarnation again. So whether you believe that stuff or not, this call chant is what yogis and people will do to kind of send out like a blessing and offer support to our loved one who just passed away. We'll be chanting it for Gina's family member. So it's kind of like an Om when you chant Om, but it's a call, A-K-A-L. So let's do 5 of them. You can have your hands on your legs. I'm gonna bring mine in front of my heart. A deep breath in and out. Just imagine all of your love going out to anyone who's suffering over the loss of this loved one, and to this loved one, to let them feel loved. Anyone else who's passed away, may they be free from suffering, and may the suffering ease for those who have loss. Full breath in. A call. A call. A call. A call. Last one. A call. Let your hands relax down by your thighs and just sit and notice. I wanted to read you a quote from Jeff Foster. Oh, sweet little boy, beloved little girl, you are so overwhelmed by life sometimes. I know, by the enormity of it all, by the vastness of the possibilities, by the myriad of perspectives available to you. You feel so pressed down sometimes by all the unresolved questions, by all the information you are supposed to process and hold, by the urgency of things. You are overcome by powerful emotions, trying to make it all work out somehow, trying to get everything done on time, trying to resolve things so fast, even trying to not try at all. You are exhausted, sweet one, exhausted from all the trying and the not trying, and you are struggling to trust life. It's all too much for the poor organism, isn't it? You are exhausted. You long for rest. And that is not a failing on yours, not a horrible mistake, but something wonderful to embrace. And then ending with that Chinese proverb, tension is what you think you should be. Relaxation is who you are. And bow your head to your heart and thank yourself for showing up. Namaste.